Happy New Year, and welcome to the Special School District's Lunch and Learn series. We are excited about this opportunity to learn together. Today, we will be learning with Jennifer Hoy from Easterseals, Midwest. Ms. Hoy will share information about Easterseals Midwest organization, their services and programs, and how these services and programs can benefit our student population and community. We welcome your participation and ask that you put any questions in our comment section in our YouTube space. It is monitored, and we ask that you do not share any specific or confidential about any students or families. This forum is open to the public, so again, please do not share any specific or confidential information. If you have to leave before the session is done, we like to share this content with others in the future. Please know that these recordings will be presented live on our SSD website under the heading Community, Family, and Outreach. All you have to do is look on the left-hand side of the page and click on Lunch and Learn. Following the presentation, we will introduce you to members of our SSD staff that can help support you with any additional questions or needs. Again, we welcome Ms. Jennifer Hoy from Easterseals Midwest. We are so happy to have you, Jennifer, with us today.
Thank you for having me. So I'm going to share my screen so you can all see the list of our services. Hopefully, there we go. So Easterseals Midwest serves people with all developmental disabilities. However, I'm specifically going to talk about our autism services today. There we go. And so most of our autism services will start with this service, which is family navigation. And a family navigation meeting, we can meet with a parent of a child of any age. It could be that they've got a 2-year-old who does not yet have a diagnosis, but they're suspecting maybe their child might be on the spectrum. Maybe it's a parent of a newly diagnosed child. Maybe they're going through a transition stage. Maybe they're going from elementary to middle school or middle school to high school, or even into adulthood. We can meet with the family. Usually takes about an hour and a half or so, and we develop an individual service plan for them and just talk about their concerns, their needs for their child, as well as for the entire family. And then we connect them to whatever services that we have to offer that would be appropriate, as well as other resources and services throughout the community. We try to make those very specific connections for them. And so it's an ongoing service, so we can meet with them as many times as needed to get them connected and get them the resources and services that they need. And that is, I don't know if I mentioned, but that is at no cost for any family member in the area. Our next service that we like to talk about is our training. We really were kind of built on our parent training programs. And so we have 2 different types of parent training. The first is our intensive 2-week parent training program. It runs from Monday through Friday from 8 to 4 for 2 weeks straight. So it's about a 40-hour-a-week program. And both the child and the parent attend. And what happens during that time, the child has sessions with a trainer 3 times a day. And in between, and the parents watch those sessions so that they can have modeled for them strategies and things that we're going to be teaching. And in between those sessions, the parents are in workshops learning about autism, about communication, sensory integration, behavior development principles and strategies, visual strategies. We talk about special education and IEPs, those kinds of things during that time. And while the parents are in workshops, the kids are in our kids' room, having age-appropriate activities going on throughout their day, very structured time. They do eat lunch together. And but what happens the next week is during the second week, instead of the trainers doing the sessions with the child, the parent actually does the sessions with the child. And we give the parent an earbud that they can put in their ear, and they get coached through their sessions. So they might hear things like, tell them they're doing a great job, or remind them how many more they have to do, or things like that. So it's really, and then they watch their sessions back afterwards. So they can see from a little more objective standpoint how their session went, how they were interacting with their child. So it's a phenomenal program, kind of the best of all worlds. They're getting the information in a workshop format. They're getting it modeled for them, seeing the trainers work with their children, using those strategies, and then they get to actually put it into practice themselves, but in a supported setting. So that's a phenomenal program. It's been going on for more than 40 years. And that's kind of our thing that we've been founded on. Our in-home parent training then is a kind of smaller version of that. We typically come out to a parent's home once a week for a couple of hours, usually lasting anywhere between 4 to 12 weeks, just kind of depending on what the parent needs. And we bring the information that maybe if they would have attended the 2-week workshop, that they would have gotten there. The difference is it is definitely more parent-based and just education-based. We might be able to incorporate a couple of sessions here and there with their child to kind of model some things for them, but it's not nearly as intensive as the 2-week training, but it's still very good. We can hit very issue-specific kinds of things when we're in the home and able to really see what's going on and give them strategies to try. So both of those, so the in-home parent training is available for any families who live in St. Louis City or St. Louis County who have the diagnosis of autism. And then we do professional training. So we can do in-services for teachers or school staff. We can really, I've presented just about everywhere you can think of: museums, the botanical gardens, churches, just community centers. So any kind of training where either staff are interested in learning more about autism and strategies to support people on the spectrum, as well as maybe like just like I said, a community center or a church who just wants to get their community more educated in that area. And then we do have also a 1-day introductory to autism workshop called the Foundations of Autism. We offer it the second Saturday of every month from 9 to 4. And go over kind of the basics of just understanding what autism is, understanding the communication and the sensory factors, as well as some basic strategies that tend to work well with people on the spectrum. So that workshop is great for parents of newly diagnosed kiddos or extended family members who want to, they want to be supportive, they want to be helpful, but they don't know a lot about autism. So that's a great resource. It's free for families who live in St. Louis City or County. It's $20 for people who live outside of our county. So it's a very doable workshop. And then we do offer support groups as well. We have a parent support group. We polled our parents recently and they said, gosh, if we could not have to get a babysitter and if we could like have our kids in bed, that would be awesome. So we've been meeting virtually on Wednesday evenings around 8 o'clock so that parents can put their kiddos to bed, not have to leave the house, and still have a good parent support group. So that happens once a month. We also have Sib Shop. And this is a type of sibling support group. It's a lot of fun for siblings on the spectrum, but also gives them a place where they can just talk about what it's like to have a sibling with autism. And it's education based as well. So when they're talking about that, the facilitator makes sure that the kids understand why their sibling might be doing some of those behaviors or things, and maybe giving them some ideas and strategies. What's really cool about it is the kids themselves usually say, oh, my brother does that all the time. You know what, when he does that, this is what I do. And so they do really support each other and give each other strategies. And it really just kind of normalizes, having that sibling with autism. So those are both free support groups that we offer as well. We do ADOS assessments, so we can do diagnostic assessments for kiddos and adults. What we typically recommend is that we do those for kids and adults who aren't necessarily looking for ABA therapy. I always like to tell parents, if you think you want ABA therapy, you need to make sure that a medical doctor does your assessment, does your evaluation, because insurance companies won't pay for it unless you've got that MD signing the diagnosis. However, we do offer those and do quite a few adults and older kids. We also have clinical ABA therapy, and currently we are doing strictly clinic-based ABA for early childhood. So it can be Monday through Friday. We have a morning group, we have an afternoon group at our clinic in Maryland Heights, and that's usually funded through insurance. And then we also have our friendship skills groups, our social skills groups. Peers is for middle schoolers and high schoolers with autism or similar kinds of social concerns. It's an evidence-based program out of UCLA, and it's phenomenal. It's a 14-week program, once a week for an hour and a half. Parents have to attend with them, as there's a parent group and a teen group going on simultaneously. And they learn things like how to have a two-way conversation, how to join a group of people who are already talking without interrupting, how to exit a group conversation, how to think about and watch for your humor feedback, good sportsmanship, how to handle teasing and bullying, those kinds of things, how to handle disagreements. So there is a assessment process for that to make sure it's a good fit. And that's where we begin for that. And then the CFT is the Children's Friendship Training. And that's basically the same program, only it's geared for 3rd through 5th graders. And it's a 12-week program instead of 14, but still the parent component is there as well. We have consultations. We can attend school meetings, IEPs with parents to help them advocate and just give them a feeling of support through their meetings. We can do school observations. We can do observations. Maybe they're wanting, struggling in Sunday school at church. We can go out and observe them at Sunday school and just, give them ideas and strategies and pointers on how to make it work better, those kinds of things. And then we also have in our individual support department, we do provide respite. Our in-home respite, just like anyone else right now, we're hurting for providers. And so our wait list is very long. However, we do have a drop-off respite program that we kind of reserve for folks who are not getting in-home respite. And you can use that once or twice a month on Saturdays for about 4 hours. So that is available, as well as we have a social group for teens. We have TGIF is for middle schoolers, high schoolers, and young adults. We break those age groups up on Friday nights and have some fun activities out in the community and or at our location for any teen or adult with autism as well. And then, like I said, we can do those outreach. I kind of mentioned this one already, outreach in the community for anyone who's interested in learning more about autism. And then our last little bit of service I just want to mention briefly is our employment and our community living. And these are not autism specific. Our employment services and our community living services are for adults with any developmental disability. So our employment includes our Community Connections Adult Day program. We have a pre-employment program to work on, what skills do they maybe need to get actual employment, and involves a lot of volunteer opportunities. We have a summer teen employment program for 16-year-olds and up who are going back to high school. They can work for a 6-week program, getting minimum wage with support during that summer before they go back to school. And then we do have supported employment as well, where they can start out with a job coach and have that weaned off as they need it. And then community living, we have the individualized supported living arrangements as well as independent living supports. I am a family navigator for Easterseals. So I've got my contact information here, and if anyone has any questions, hopefully you'll put them in the chat right now. But if you think of anything later or whatever, you can feel free to contact me directly. And I would be happy to answer any questions or get you connected to services as well.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for all the great information. Now I'm going to see, do we have any questions or comments in the chat? Okay, good.
We do have several questions. Regarding your training program, Jennifer, is there an option for parents that work full-time?
So the in-home parent training would probably be the best, best fit if they're in St. Louis City or St. Louis County. We do have parents. So for that on-site parent training program, 2 weeks is a lot. It is full-time. We do have parents that use their vacation time, or they, a lot of times they can use their FMLA to take that 2 weeks off, to do that for their kiddos. We also quite often will have maybe one parent attend and the other one come as they can, or one parent attend and maybe a grandparent attend with them if they're, very involved or that kind of thing as well.
Okay, great. Is a diagnosis needed to be eligible for the intensive training program? And is there a cost to families for that?
So for the 2-week intensive training program, they don't need to have a diagnosis. Most of the kids that come through do, and it is, most of the information is really autism specific. However, we have had, kiddos who don't have a diagnosis yet, or maybe they have similar related kind of diagnoses like Fragile X or ADHD, those kinds of things. The actual cost for the on-site parent training program is $5,500. However, we ask parents to pay $500 of that, and we can break that into payments. And we will work with you. We don't want costs to prevent you from coming. So even if that 500 is steep for you, we can try to work with you on that.
Someone is wanting to know when the SIB shop takes place.
Okay, I should know this. SIB shops, I believe, are on Wednesday evenings, like early evening, once a month, typically, sometimes twice a month. That's something I can definitely, if you have very specific questions, I can get you that information for sure.
Might that be on your website too?
It should be.
Okay. All right, but people can reach out to you directly.
Absolutely.
Using your contact information.
Absolutely.
Okay. A few more questions. What age is the ABA therapy for? And then when would that take place and for how long?
So our clinic ABA is for up till they're in, up till 5, I guess, up until they go to school, to kindergarten. So it's early childhood based. The time frame I want to say is like 8:30 to noon. It's either 9 to noon, 8:30 to noon, and then the afternoon session I think is from 1 to 4. So they're about 3-hour blocks of time. And I know we do have some kids that attend all day and stay for lunch, but most of the time it's either morning or afternoon.
And does that take place weekly? Like how often what's the frequency?
I want to say it can be flexible. Most of the kids come at least twice a week. Some kids come every day, some come 3 days a week. So I think it just kind of depends on what their assessment shows they need, how much do they need and what do the parents want, to be providing for their children.
And you mentioned earlier that you've presented at many different events in the community in many different places. Someone is asking if you've ever presented at a Scouts, like Boy Scouts event, and would that be an option for a Girl Scout troop?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We also do, I didn't mention it, but we also do ability awareness and autism awareness trainings in the schools, for classrooms, usually elementary, but sometimes middle school as well. And absolutely Scouts would be great.
Wonderful. Do you have an elementary age social skills group like the middle school program? I'm not sure if they're asking about the social skills or just the social skills group.
So the social skills groups are the peers and the children's friendship training. The children's friendship training is 3rd through 5th grade. So that is the social skills. If they were thinking about the just the social activities, the TGIF, that is strictly middle school and up.
Okay. A few more questions. This is great. We really have some good questions being asked. Similar questions for the intro workshop and for the support groups. Is a diagnosis needed for each of those?
So those are both funded. So if, for us to be able to offer it at no cost, yes. However, you can absolutely private pay. The foundations workshop is $20 a person with a max of 40 for a family. And the support groups, I want to say it's $15 a session. Let me just check that to make sure I'm quoting that. Yes, support groups are $15 a session.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the next question. You've already covered that there is a cost, but you're willing to work with people for that in-home training, correct?
The in-home parent training, there is no cost.
Oh, there's no cost.
Covered.
Okay.
It is covered as long as they're in St. Louis City and County and have the autism diagnosis.
Okay, all right. What do you recommend for people that just got the diagnosis for their child? We were given so many places to contact that it was almost overwhelming to know who to contact.
Yeah. And I get that. And that's why we do family navigation. That's what I would suggest is to come and have a family navigation meeting. And most of my meetings are virtual right now anyway. So it's a little easier. You don't have to come. But to have a family navigation meeting and I can really kind of maybe hone down some of those and really talk about specifics and exactly. The hard thing, I think, is like if you're looking for maybe ABA therapy, so many agencies have wait lists. And so then you do end up calling a lot of places, just because you're trying to find one that maybe doesn't. But I think family navigation is a good place to start because that might narrow down some of those resources.
Okay. Did anyone on our panel have any questions for Jennifer? I think that's all of the questions from our viewers.
No.
Jennifer, I think we're going to do introductions, but did you have any final words that you
No,
wanted
just
to share?
thank you all for letting me talk about our services. I'm happy to talk with anyone anytime. So thanks so much.
Yes, we are so delighted that you were able to give us a lot of great information, Jennifer. I don't have any questions because you gave us so much information. I have to take it all in. But right now, I would like to segue to introduce some of our staff members that would be able to support families with additional questions and additional help from our district.
Hi, I'm Jen Beavers. I'm the social work effective practice specialist here at Special School District. And our social work department has over 100 social workers that are placed in district buildings as well as partner districts to support families and to help navigate challenges like seeking services for a kiddo with autism. If there's something that I could do to help or support you, please feel free to reach out. I can be reached at 314-989-8242.
Hi, I'm Deborah Fiasco in the Parent Education Program. We have several of us that are here and available to support families with any diagnosis or with no diagnosis. And we range from birth to death. So we are not just dependent on being a special school district family or student. We provide information and resources to families all over the country. We have a resource center with a variety of information. And we also do workshops throughout the school year that are available to anyone on various topics like autism. I know I've presented with Jen for years and worked with them and have been involved in that family training for sadly almost the whole time that they've been doing it. And it's a wonderful, wonderful program. So I encourage families that have the opportunity to take part and meet with her as a family navigator. We do kind of the same thing here in parent education, is help families navigate the complex social and community supports as well as educational supports. So we're here to help. Our main number where you can kind of reach and leave a number, our message is 314-989-8460, or you can find us on SSD's website. Thank you.
Good morning again. I am Michelle Franklin. I work in the Family and Community Outreach Department. I'm excited to say that on the 18th of this month, we will be doing our grand opening of the Family Resource Hub located in North Tech High School. And within that space, we will have a satellite food hub. We will have computers open for families if they need to come and contact organizations like Easterseals Midwest or any other organizations. We have phones, we have printing capabilities. We also have this space open where learning labs can happen for families and for staff members. It's just a space for community and families to come and to support you all in whatever you need. Again, my name is Michelle Franklin. I'm with the Family and Community Outreach Department. I can be reached at 314-989-8034, or you can reach myself and my manager, Adrienne Eaglin, at familyengagement@ssdmo.org. I am so excited.
We have, Michelle, please forgive me. Before we let Jennifer go, we had another question, a couple core questions.
Wow, Jennifer, you're popular.
I would love for her to address them. So do schools, Jennifer, refer families for the family navigation meeting? If so, how? I'll ask that question first.
I'm sorry, repeat the first part.
Do schools refer families for the family navigation meeting? If so, how?
Yeah, absolutely. If if the school just wants to let parent, it's easiest for the parent to call directly. But if the school wants to do that for them and then have us give the parent a call, we can do that as well. Our main number is 314-432-6200, and just ask for autism admissions.
And then could you please share your email address again?
Yes, it is my name, Jennifer, JENNIFER .HAUGHEY at ES as in Sam, MW.org.
And those were the last questions. So I will turn it back over to you, Michelle.
Thank you. And please note that this is pre-recorded, so all families, community stakeholders can access this and all other previous Lunch and Learn sessions on our website. All you have to do is you can go into the search bar and put in Lunch and Learn, or scroll and go under community, where you will locate Family and Community Outreach, and look on the left side and you will have access. And that way you can see Jennifer's of Easterseals Midwest, all her information, her contact number and everything. Jennifer, we are so delighted that you were able to spend some time with us this morning and give us all that great information about navigations and training and all those additional supports. You are like super popular. This is my third session and I don't remember that many questions. So I see that Easterseals and Midwest is really there to support families, and families really want that information. So thank you so much for being a part of our learning session today. Do you have anything that you want to add?
No, just thank you for having me, and feel free to contact me anytime.
Believe me, we will. We'll invite you over to the Family Resource Hub at North Tech High School. If you log into our website, you'll be able to see all the different invitations and stuff coming out, and the SSD connections and spotlight. So we thank you so very much. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone.